This is a DSP-256 display, and I want to explain to you what the connectors are and what they're for. Okay, on here we have 5 RJ type connectors and plus a power connector. So we plug in the power cord into this connector, and that takes anything from 12 to 15 volts AC or DC. We have 2 Cat5 connectors here. This is receive data, and the second jack is transmit data. And we can connect multiple displays together by hooking the transmit from one to the receive on another, or we can connect a keypad to the receive jack and remotely control this device from a keypad or a computer or any other device. We also have RJ11 jacks on here. They do the same thing except that they use phone cord for the connections. So for shorter distances you can use the phone cord. For longer distances you need to use the Cat5 cable. And there's one other connector on here. It's the RSSR jack, and this allows you to connect remote buttons to it for remote start, stop, and reset. And it also has a counter function, so if you want to count individual numbers, each time you press the button it increments the count by 1. This is the KP215 ASM keypad. It has 8 buttons and a knob on it, and we're going to connect it up to a display here in a moment. But let me explain the buttons here. We have 8 buttons. First of all, the mode button selects between count up and count down. The start stop starts and stops the timer. Reset resets the timer to a preset value. The select button is used for changing hours, minutes, and seconds when used with the knob. The knob is for changing the value. We also have 3 stored presets, so you can store the current setting of the unit, and there's 3 available registers for storing settings. And then this last button is a clock button showing the time of day clock. Now I'm going to plug this keypad in, so I'm going to get a cord. There's a Cat5 cable. There's an in and out jack on this thing, so I'm going to plug this into the out jack on this. If I were to hook 2 keypads together, I could hook one into the in jack and daisy chain 2 or more keypads together, and either keypad would operate the remote unit. So now I'm going to take the other end of the cord and I'm going to plug it into the RX jack on the display. I'm also going to plug in the power cord right there, and I'm going to turn the display over, and it shows a scrolling hello message. The hello 6 means it's a 6-digit display. Okay, I have a KP215 ASM keypad here, and I have a DSP-256 display with 6 digits. And I'm going to demonstrate how to operate this display from the keypad. Okay, we're going to start out, we're going to press the reset button, and then we're going to press the start button, and the counter is going to start counting up. I can hit stop, I can hit reset, and it goes back to 0. I can press start again. Also, while the timer is running, I can press reset, and it will go to 0 and start over each time I hit reset. So I don't have to stop it to reset it. Okay, now I'm going to also demonstrate countdown mode. So I'm going to press the mode button here. This selects between count up and count down. So now we're in countdown mode. I hit reset, and it goes to the last preset time, but I want 7 minutes. So I want to press the start button, and it starts counting down from 7 minutes down to 0. Now I can press reset, and the reset takes it back to the last preset time in the countdown mode. And while it's in countdown mode, I can press the mode button and go back to count up mode and see the elapsed time, and I can switch back and forth between the 2 of them, and both timers are running simultaneously. Okay, now let's change the time here. So I'm going to put in 10 minutes, and I want to start the timer, and now I want to store that time in a preset here. I got 3 presets available to me. I'm going to use preset 1. So while the timer is running, I'm going to press and hold the preset button. That's going to store, and you saw the light blink there, the value into that register. Now I'm going to stop the timer and put in 13 minutes, start the timer, and press and hold preset 2, and I'm storing the number. So now I'm going to stop the timer, and now I want to put the third one at 10 seconds. So I'm going to set that to 0, press the select button. That shows hours, and I can change hours, but I want 0 for hours. And then I'm going to turn this to 10 seconds. And I'm not going to start it this time. I'm just going to leave it stopped. So I'm going to press and hold the preset 3 until the display blinks. So now I'm going to press start, and it's running. Press stop. Now I'm going to just tap preset 1. Notice it brought back 10 minutes and counting down. I tapped preset 2, it brought it to 13 minutes and counting down. I tapped preset 3, it came to 10 seconds, and it didn't start the timer because when I stored it, I didn't have it running. So I can store it as a stopped time. And that basically covers the count up and count down modes for the KP215 ASM. I have a KP215 ASM connected to a DSP256 display. And I'm going to demonstrate some of the special modes of this timer right now. So I'm going to press reset and start, and you see the counter counts down to 0, and when it gets to 0 the timer is going to stop. Okay, and it turns red and stops. This is a tricolor display, so it turns red and stops. So now I'm going to press reset. Now I'm going to press and hold the start button, and this puts it into a setup mode. And mode 0 means when the timer gets to 0 it stops. Mode 1 we're not using in this case. Mode 2 I want to demonstrate right now, so I'm going to turn it to mode 2. I'm going to press reset and press start, and it's going to count down to 0, and watch what happens when it gets to 0. Notice that it starts over again, so it automatically restarts from 10 seconds or whatever preset time that I've put in there. Every time it gets to 0 it just restarts to the same preset value and over again. So I'm going to hit stop, I'm going to press and hold the start button again, and I'm going to try mode 3. Now I'm going to press reset, start. Now it's going to count down to 0, and we'll watch what it does here. It switches to count up mode. So in this case, when it gets to 0, it starts counting up, showing the elapsed time. I hit stop, reset, and since it's in count up mode, I had to hit the mode button to get it back to countdown mode. Now I want to store that setting in the preset here, so I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to press and hold the preset button. Okay, now I'm going to let it count down. It's going to go to count up mode. Then I'm going to hit preset 1, and it starts over again. And so now it's a single button press. It goes back to countdown mode, starts counting down. When it gets to 0, it's going to start counting up. And now earlier I'd stored 10 minutes into preset 1, so now we're in the normal preset 1. But if I want to go back to preset 3, the numbers are still stored there. It counts down from 0, then starts counting up again, as we'll see here in just a moment. Okay, we'll hit stop, reset. Now there's one more function I want to demonstrate right now, and this is a time of day clock. This button here puts it into a time of day clock mode, and this shows hours, minutes, and seconds. Now it's not set to the correct time right now, so I'm going to set it. I'm going to press and hold the clock button. And the first setting we're going to ignore, that's actually day of the week, but we're not using that, so we're going to just hit the select button, go past that, and this is going to be hour, and it's now 9 a.m. So I'm going to tap the select button one more time, and I'm going to, it's 24 minutes after the hour, and I'm going to tap it one more time, and this one keeps moving because this is showing the seconds. So now I can synchronize my seconds. I can turn it backwards, or I can turn it forward. Yeah, it's 45 seconds, so it's 48, 49. Now I hit the select button one more time, and we're back to showing the display. 9 o'clock, 24 minutes after the hour, and 57 seconds. And then one more feature, when I tap the clock button, it switches between 12 and 24-hour mode. You can't see any change right now because it's AM, but if I were to press and hold this clock button again, and just for the moment I'm going to change it to sometime in the afternoon, like 1800 hours. And I'm going to just press the select button a couple more times. Now at 1800 hours, that's military time. I tap the clock button, it shows 6 p.m. or 1800 hours by tapping the clock button. So now we're able to show military time. So that covers the clock features as well as some special countdown timer modes.